Hello and welcome. So, if you've ever used Terraform, you know the feeling. You're staring at your screen, just wondering, why on earth does it want to destroy and recreate a research when all you wanted was a simple update? Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to solve this puzzle together. This is the big question, isn't it? You make one tiny change, run Terraform plan, and suddenly it's telling you it needs to replace the whole thing. It feels destructive, unpredictable, and frankly, it's a little scary. But what if I told you it's not what it seems at all? That's right. This thing that feels so totally random is actually an intentional, built-in safety feature. And you know what the best part is? You have the power to control it. You can actually give Terraform a new set of rules to play by. So let's treat this like we're solving a mystery. Because for a lot of us, especially when we're starting out, that's exactly what it feels like. You've got this incredibly powerful tool, but it seems to have a mind of its own. It's time to pull back the curtain and see what's really going on. You know, this feeling is completely normal. I'd say it's a shared experience for pretty much everyone who learns Terraform. So the goal here is to take that feeling of randomness and swap it out for a feeling of confidence and total control. So how do we get that control? Well, we do it by giving Terraform a set of what I like to call secret instructions. Now, they're not really hidden, but they aren't always super obvious when you're just getting your feet wet. And they live right inside your code. The official name for these instructions is the Lifecycle meta-argument. It's just a special block of code that you could pop inside any resource block you write. Think of it like a set of manager's notes for Terraform, guiding exactly how it should behave for that one specific resource. I love this analogy because it just clicks. Imagine Terraform is a construction worker. By default, if you ask for a major renovation, its process is to tear down the old house completely before it even thinks about starting the new one. For a little while, there's just no house at all. But with our special instructions, we can tell that worker, hey, build the new house first. Once it's ready and we give the thumbs up, then you can tear down the old one. No downtime. Simple as that. Now, there are a few of these lifecycle arguments, but we're going to focus on the three most essential ones. Think of them as your primary safety rules. Honestly, mastering these three will solve about 90% of the confusion you might ever run into. And here they are, our three key rules. Create before destroy, which is all about managing downtime. Prevent destroy, which is like your emergency brake. And ignore changes, which gives you that really fine-grained control. All right, let's break them down. So let's start with rule number one, which ties right back to our house building analogy. This here is Terraform's default flow. When a resource has to be replaced, it first does the destroy action, and only after that's totally done does it do the create action. For something like a web server, well, that means downtime. And here's the solution. It's brilliant. By just adding create before destroy equals true inside that resource's lifecycle block, you completely flip the script. Now Terraform creates the new replacement resource first. Once it's up and happy, it then gets rid of the old one. This gives you a seamless transition with zero downtime, which is, absolutely crucial for production. Okay, on to our second rule. This one is like the big red emergency stop button. When you add prevent destroy equals true, you're basically telling Terraform, look, under no circumstances should you ever delete this resource. If any plan would lead to its destruction, Terraform just stops and throws an error. This is your ultimate safety net for things like your production database. And finally, we've got ignore changes. This one is a little more subtle, but it's super powerful. So imagine you have an auto-scaling group where the number of servers goes up and down with traffic, right? If your Terraform code says there should be a fixed number of servers, every time you run a plan, Terraform's going to see a mismatch and try to fix it. Ignore changes lets you tell Terraform, hey, I know this one specific value is going to change outside of my control, and that's okay. Just ignore it. Don't try to manage it. So, we've seen the tools, we know how to control the behavior, but this brings us right back to the original mystery. Why does Terraform do this in the first place? Why does it choose to replace something instead of just updating it? And here it is, the big reveal. The thing is, Terraform is fundamentally conservative. It's designed to be safe. For some changes, especially to core things like an instance type, trying to modify it in place could fail, or even worse, leave the resource in some kind of broken state. So Terraform's logic says the safest, most predictable way to get you what you want is to create a brand new, clean resource and just get rid of the old one. It's not a bug, it's a core part of its design philosophy. Okay, so you get the theory. Now, how do you start using this stuff safely? You don't want to just start sprinkling lifecycle rules all over the place. Let's put together a simple little safety checklist you can follow.
All right, here are 3 simple rules to get you started. First off, right away, think about adding Prevent Destroy to your most critical stuff. Your main database is a perfect candidate. Second, and this is the golden rule of Terraform, always, always run Terraform plan and actually read the output before you ever type apply. That plan is your crystal ball. And finally, just experiment. Add these rules to some temporary, non-critical resources and just see how they change the plan's output.
Look, if you only take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Lifecycle arguments aren't some complex, advanced feature. They are your fundamental safety rules. They are your way of telling Terraform what you intend to do and what your needs are, turning it from a tool that sometimes feels unpredictable into a reliable partner. By understanding and using these rules, you've really unlocked a whole new level of control over your infrastructure. The mystery is solved. That behavior isn't random anymore. It's a deliberate choice that you are now in charge of. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build next?